right, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Black Diamond Podcast. I'm your host, Will White, aka Black Diamond. Welcome to the podcast. Welcome to the stream. This is going to be a nice little casual stream. We're going to get into a little topic that's been on my mind, right? Something I've experienced, and I'm pretty sure something other guys out there have experienced, right? But before we get into that, be sure to remember to subscribe to the channel. If you listen to this live, you listen to this pre-recorded, subscribe to the channel, leave a like, leave a comment. Tell me what you think about my show in the comments. Send me a message. Follow me on Instagram. Follow me on TikTok. Follow me on Facebook. I'm almost on every platform, guys, to bring you more content. We are going to dial it back to once a week on Fridays, 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. Catch me doing the podcast. I'm trying to consolidate a little bit more so I could bring you more quality content rather than quantity. So until we get the quality just where I like it, then we can start ramping up the quantity, okay? But that's the goal right now. Follow me on all my platforms. Check me out. Links are below. Leave a like. Subscribe to the channel. Share this video with somebody because this is going to come from the heart. Right, we're going to talk about this from the heart today, all right? We're going to get real deep into this conversation, into this topic. And I'm going to give you guys a little bit of insight on, why I think men should go where they're celebrated rather than going where you're tolerated, right? We're going to really break that down, what that means in terms of your goals, your pursuit in life. And, of course, dating, women, relationships, right? We're going to break that all down. But I'm glad to have anyone here. If you're live, you could be anywhere else in the world right now, but you're here with me watching my content. So shout out to you. And, yeah, thank you guys for coming. Thank you guys for supporting the stream. We're always striving to bring you more content, better content. So I hope you guys have liked what I put out so far. We're only going to go get better from here on out. So, I hope you enjoy the content. Hope you enjoy the stream, the topic we're about to get into, and why I think men should be celebrated. And go where you're celebrated, not where you're tolerated, right? What does that truly mean, right? Let me switch the camera up on you guys because we need an in-depth look at how I am right now, okay? Let me fix this light. So, if you're first time at the channel, shout out to you. If you guys have just tuned in, you know that this channel is focused around self-improvement and more specifically, male self-improvement, right? So we're constantly on the path of just seeing how we can grow better as men, right? Overall. And what we can do every day just to keep chugging along that path, right? And one thing I found is that if you constantly chase something that isn't giving you any energy back, right? Like it's this cat and mouse type game. You're constantly going to be in this cycle, right? You're going to be in this never ending loop that's constantly playing itself over and over and over again. Where you're just going to be chasing something. You're chasing the cheese. You're chasing the woman. You're chasing this thing that is not chasing you. That's not showing you any energy back. Right? And maybe we get so caught up in the looks of it or what it could be for us, right? What this item or this person could do for us in the future. We get so caught up in just the dream, the illusion of what they could present to us, what they could bring to our lives, that we get stuck in this loop of just constant chasing, and it gets worse when the chase has little bits of satisfaction, right? So, for instance, say you're chasing and you feel like you're getting a little bit closer the longer you chase it, right? You feel like you're getting to that goal the longer you chase it. But in reality, that thing is either chasing something else or is locked on to something else and is after that, and it's not worried about you. You're just getting the leftovers, the bits and pieces of it, right? Now, let's apply this realistically to your career goals, right? A lot of dudes are going to chase their goals, which you should do, right? The thing you don't want to do is you don't want to chase a job, right? For example, it's the most simplistic term I can think of right now. A job. You don't want to chase a job. Get the job. And then when you're in the job, your manager doesn't have you back, right? Coworkers don't like you. You're not getting the promotion you want. You feel disrespected, right? You're not celebrated there. They don't look at you as a quality employee. And of course, there's going to be that aspect of self-reflection just to make sure that you're doing everything correctly as an employee, right? But also there's an aspect of if you are doing everything correctly, why are you not obtaining the results you know that you deserve, right? Like if you know the type of person you are and you know you have evidence and the facts behind it to support you on why you deserve A, B, and C of your goals and you're not getting it, then you have to leave, right? You have to stop chasing. You have to stop chasing that goal where it's not going to be attainable in that environment, right? So this just applies to your job. If you're chasing a promotion at your job and maybe your manager's just saying, hey, well, you'll get that if you just work a little bit harder in the next 6 months. If you know you've hit all your deadlines, you've hit all your goals, you've hit all your milestones, and you went above and beyond in some cases, then you know it's not you. You know it's something else, right? And for instance, let's say you're not the most hated person within the company, right? Let's say you're a tolerable employee, you're a good employee, you get along with most people, right? You don't have to be buddies with everyone, but let's say you get along with most people, but you're doing everything correct and you're going above and beyond, and you're still not hitting these, and you're not getting the promotion or the milestones that you know that you deserve, then you know something's up. You know something is up. And that's really what I mean by not going where go where you're celebrated and not where you're tolerated, right? Because at that point, your employer is just tolerating you at that point. He doesn't really recognize or see you for who you are. He's just tolerating you because you're getting the job done. Or he has his eyes set on somebody else to take that position or to take that promotion, and he's not locked on to you, right? A lot of companies will do this to people. This is why I wholeheartedly don't believe in putting all my energy into a company, because the company will let you go in a blink of an eye and hire whoever they want, right? Like, for example, they always ask for 2-week notice, but when you get fired, it's instant. When they want you gone, it's instant. But on the other hand, they want a 2-week notice. Right? So this is why you have to make sure that the job and the career field that you're at is going to celebrate you. Right? And you become that person that can do his job well. You become an expert in that field, hopefully, right? You become an expert in that field and you're doing your job stupendously. There's no reason why you shouldn't get that promotion, but yet you're still chasing that promotion, right? They're not celebrating you, right? 9 times out of 10, that manager or your boss has his eyes set on another person for that promotion. So that's what I mean by just don't stay at a place where you're just tolerated, right? Don't stay at a place where you could put the bare minimum in and you're not moving up or you're not progressing the way that you want to. Go where you're celebrated. Go where your skills will shine. Go where you will shine. Go where people will see the work that you put in and the value that you add to the company. All right. And I hope my mic sounds good, guys. Let me know. Let me know in the chat how my mic sounds. Let me know how I sound, right? Let me know how you're feeling this topic. All right. Now, the other aspect of that we're going to really dive deep into is dating and relationships, right? And I'll say this from the beginning. I am not a relationship coach. I'm not a dating coach. I'm not an expert on dating or anything like that. I'll preface that before I go into this. I'm simply just a man, like one of you hopefully watching this show right now, who is opening up about his experiences with dating and relationships. And I'm giving you my insight. So, and honestly, I'm giving you my failures, my L's, right? I'm giving you that take so that you don't have to make my mistakes down the road, right? And that's really how we grow as men, is that you learn from other men's mistakes. So you don't have to make them on your own, right? And of course, you could pick what you want from this conversation, but, you know, take it with a grain of salt. I'm not a dating coach, not a dating expert, just a guy who really self-improved to a point where I can add some value. I can tell you about my L's. I can tell you about my failures, right? And I can give you that insight on what I did wrong and how you can improve and do better next time around. Or if you ever encounter a situation similar like this, let me know. And let me know how it went for you. And I want this to be an open platform or open communication for every man out there to just be willing to share their stories, their dating experiences, you know, your horror stories. Because I can't be the only one going through this, right? But I am going to open up with you guys and tell you guys a little bit about it. But basically, guys, you never want to chase women too much, right? When we talk about dating, we talk about chasing in dating, chasing validation from the woman, right? Going on constant dates, chasing the feeling you'll get from her texting you back, right? Chasing the feeling you'll get when she calls you, chasing the feeling you get when she just reaches out to you in any form of way. You don't want to chase in that aspect, right? Because if you feel good when this woman texts you, or it's special when she texts you and she doesn't do it that frequently, or she doesn't reach out to you that frequently, then it's not an equivalent exchange. Someone's giving in more than what the other person is giving in, right? Now, if it's an equivalent exchange and she's celebrating you, she's showing reciprocity, she's showing you the same energy, fine, cool, be my guest. But a lot of times, that's not the case for some guys, right? There's a lot of situations where you end up chasing the woman, especially if you don't know this woman for the first time, right? Especially if she's a stranger, you're going to end up chasing her to some degree where you're pursuing her for a date. But the point you don't want to get to is when you're overly eager about seeing her or meeting up with her or just giving her your attention, right? I always say this: treat yourself like a company, value your time like a company would, right? Value your energy, your money, energy, attention, and time. Shout out to Coach. Those things are going to be important, and you shouldn't be chasing someone so that you can give those resources away, right? That person should understand that you're acknowledging them first, and that you're acknowledging that you're a provider in those four types types, right? Money, energy, attention, and time. You're providing all that for them, and there should be some level of reciprocity, right? But if you're not getting that level of reciprocity, then you're constantly on this cat and mouse chase. You're just chasing something that isn't chasing you back. You know, that person that you're chasing, that woman that you're chasing, she's not locked onto you. Right? 9 times out of 10, she's probably chasing someone else. And that's the reality of it. You're chasing her, she's chasing someone else. And this other dude don't even want her, right? So he's chasing someone else. So you get caught in this loop, you get caught in this cycle of of the cat and mouse chase. And maybe you'll get this bit of satisfaction, right? You know, she might show you some attention some days, so you feel good and you continue the pursuit. But she was never locked onto you, right? She never saw you. She never wanted to chase you. And when it comes to dating, right, and we talk about female nature, we talk about male nature, right, a lot of times, women, once they turn 18, have a lot more experience with dealing with the opposite sex compared to most 18-year-old men, right? Meaning that by the time a woman turns 18, she's headed off to college. She is going to have a lot more options and opportunities where men of all different backgrounds are going to be constantly pursuing her for attention, right? Where on the other hand, you have an 18-year-old guy and he's on the short end of the stick, right? He's going to be in that constant pursuit of chasing all these women most times, right? He's going to be constantly figuring out, okay, what is this girl like? What is this girl like? How do I improve this? How do I talk this way? How do I get this? How do I get that? He's in that journey, that phase of his life where he's figuring things out for himself, right? And he's figuring out how to be good with women for the most part. Where women, on the other hand, they're now learning how to categorize men, right? They're learning how to categorize and they're learning how to deal with men, right? They're learning how to deal with approaches, unwanted approaches, all sorts of things, right? But the amount of opportunities they get with the opposite sex is going to be on a much higher level compared to the 18-year-old guy, right? So why is that important, right? Because when you break that down into a guy who turns 25 and now he starts to have a little bit more money in his pocket, right? He starts to have a little bit more experience with women. His level of experience is not going to be on the same level of experience of a woman who is 25, right? Because by the time she turned 18, she had a lot more opportunities and options to just interact and deal with the opposite gender. Compared to the guy, he turned 25. Maybe he's now actually found the confidence in himself to actually approach and communicate with women, right? A lot of times guys don't have the abundance of options until they hit that 25, 30-year age peak where they really have some change in their pocket. They could change up the outfit. They could work on their looks. They could do something cool with their hair. They don't learn that until much later in life, right? And they don't have the same level of opportunities as a woman who turned 18 would, right? So the chase is going to be much different. And this is why I say you should not stay where you're just tolerated. You have to stay where you're going to be celebrated. That reciprocity, that energy is going to be important. Is she pouring into you the same way you're pouring into her? And of course, you might meet those women who at a young age want to pour into you and, want to be there for you. But also at the same time, you have to understand your prioritizations, right? So this is another key point. You have to understand your priorities and where the woman is going to lie in your list of priorities, right? Your top 3 priorities, in my opinion, this is my own advice, take it with a grain of salt if you need to, should not contain a woman, right? Career, purpose, and then personal personal goals or whatever it could be. It can even be personal goals, can even be family as well, right? But career, passion or purpose, and then personal goals, right? Those should be your top three. Those should be your main focus. Every day you wake up, those should be the first three things on your mind, right? And if you wake up and you check your phone and you instantly go to that woman, then you know where she stands on the list of priorities. Because if she's the first thing you look at when you open your phone and when you wake up, then you know that she's very high on the list of priorities, right? Now, the problem with that is a lot of people are going to say, oh, that's weird. Why don't you put your girl first? Well, the reason why you don't put your girl first is because if you're not focused on those three things and you end up losing yourself into your woman, right? Say your woman is the first thing you look at when you open your phone when you wake up. So she's number one on the list. Well, by default, something has to be number two, right? Something has to be number three. And whatever was number three now becomes number four. And we know a lot of times people don't even get to check number four. If you have a busy career, if you have a family, if you have kids, if you have a dog or anything, sometimes you don't even get to number four all the times. Number four is on the back burner, right? So if your girl's number one, career number two, so after you hit your girl up, you say good morning, like a sucker, right? You check your phone, you check your emails, cool. After that, you check on your side hustle, you check your money, right? Sometimes you won't even get to check number four. And number four could have been a personal goal you're working on, for example, as a side hustle or a business meeting you had with one of your friends to go start up a real estate plan or something like that, right? So you don't even get to number four because you bumped your girl to number one, the 1, 2, and 3. Right? So this is why priorities and chasing is never going to work out for you. Okay? So a lot of times men get too wrapped up in the women, right? And, I've fallen victim to that as well, right? We all have fallen victim to that, but this podcast is about you learning from my mistakes, my experiences, and growing and moving past that, right? So you take them with a grain of salt and you take it and you learn from it, right? So one thing I learned is just don't put your woman in the top 3 of your list of priorities, right? I would say 4 is probably a very good start. So after you check your career, your passion, your purpose, your personal goals, then you could probably hit up your girl, right? Cool, I'm fine with that. But definitely not in the top 3. Because, the reason why I say this, right, is because if you have a girl with you, right, and she is number 1, and you put, let's say you put career number 4. Career became 4 at some point in your life, right? So now you lost a source of income, or you're about to lose a source of income because you can't pay enough attention to it. It may not happen instantaneously, but at some point your girl is not going to be your girl anymore. If you don't prioritize career, if you don't prioritize money and being a provider and bringing in resources, then at some point in your life, your girl will not be number 1, right? It's going to force you to put career number 1 because she's going to be gone. So from the start, you need to put yourself first. You always got to put yourself first at the end of the day. You got to put your career, your goals, your passion, your purpose. You got to put that first. And then you got to treat your girl as number 4 on the back burner. It's sad to say, but that's the way it has to be. Because if you don't focus on yourself and you don't put your improvement first, then your girl's not going to see the value you truly add as a man in her life, right? So, and this is going to come full circle, right? We're going to bring it all back. Now, when we look at it from the woman's standpoint, she's going to have a list of priorities too, right? She's going to have 1, 2, and 3. Most women nowadays, most modern women, career, passion, purpose, and maybe, I don't know, astrology, feelings, who knows, right? Anyway, they're going to have a list and a list of priorities as well. This is where it gets tricky because if you're not a priority to her, so if you're not in her top three, let's say you're number 4, let's say you're number 5, your goals and the time that you make for each other are never going to align because she doesn't see you as a priority, right? So let's say you made her number 4, you're worried about these top 3. It's not that you never see number 4, it's just that whoever is number 4 on your list of priorities has to put in more effort to prioritize the time with you. Okay? So if you're not in her top 3 and you're just, you're working 9 to 5 and then you're working extra on the side of that, let's say on the weekends you have a couple hours to spare with her, if she can prioritize you, she's going to make time in her schedule to come see you, right? Whereas you've cut out time out of your schedule for her and she makes time for you out of her schedule. There's a big difference when you see that. Okay. But if you're not even in the top 3, let's say you're number 4 is something that you can forget about. Okay. So if you're constantly forgetting about each other, then the relationship's just not going to work. Right? You're never going to set aside time to just meet up with each other. So this is where it gets tricky and it gets important. I talk about the chase, right? And I talk about you should go where you're celebrated and not tolerated, is because if someone puts you as a priority, then by default, they're going to celebrate you when you see you. They're going to value the time that you guys spend together when you guys see each other. Because she's going to know it's important. It's important to you because you've cut it out of your schedule to come see her. And she made time for you to go see you, right? And that's my take on that. Go where you are celebrated, not tolerated. Also, right? This is going to be another tricky one. A lot of times guys will settle for the bare minimum. And when I say that, I mean a lot of times guys will settle for bare minimum level of maybe getting the good morning text, getting some intimacy every now and then, right? And we'll feel comfortable with that. But let me just ask you, for all the men out there who are watching, tuning in right now, is that comfortable? Is that a position you're comfortable being in long term? Right? As we know, as men, right? We don't want to be dating forever. Dating is a strenuous game financially, mentally, emotionally, right? We all don't want to be doing that forever. We got to give up the player's hat at some point, right? So it comes down to a point of, are you happy with the bare minimum that you're receiving from this woman, right? If you're just getting the box, if you're just getting just a good morning text, but you're not getting the full or the best version of your girl or the girl that you're dating, then do you truly want to put energy into that going forward, knowing that you have all these deadlines, all these goals you want to meet, all these goals you want to hit, your purpose that you want to fulfill in life, right? Your career goals in life, making money. Do you really want to put more energy and time into that, knowing that that person doesn't see the same value that you see in yourself, right? So I'm going to leave you guys with that note. And we're going to bring the guests on. We got some guests today, guys. Like I said, I'm doing the show a little bit better. I'm consolidating things, giving you quality over quantity. We're going to have a good conversation. We're going to talk more about this topic, and hope you guys enjoy. So let's get into it a little bit. Hello, hello.
Hello. Hi. How are you?
I'm doing well, We have another guest. Hello, are you ready?
Hey, yes, I'm ready. How are you doing? Wow,
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing great tonight. Great. I want to say, wait a minute. Let me wait till my turn. I'm doing fine. Okay.
Okay. Yep. Let's start with introductions. Let me get your name, age, education, what do you do for work, and your relationship status.
I am Renee. I'm Renee
Okay.
Linsom. I am. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know if you wanted me to go first, but I am Renee Linsom. I am a writer. That is my business. I am a writer, and I am 38 and married.
Okay. 30 and married. Okay. Uh, Next.
Hello, everyone. My name is Darlene April, and on YouTube, I am April Showers Network. I am 62. I am single, and I am a two-time breast cancer survivor. The damage from radiation chemo caused a lot of damage to my body. So um, I no longer work, but I'm very active in my community. I'm on two boards. And what I want to say to you is what you started off with saying making yourself number one. I thought that was great. Career prospects, goals, and passion. I
Okay.
want to say
Yeah.
this because I might not be able to stay too long because I got a little bronchial infection, but I wanted to be a part.
Okay. Well, thank
I'm
you for that. I
single.
appreciate that.
Yeah, I'm
I mean,
single, right? Yeah, I'm single. So when I meet a guy now, I want them to be single as well, and I want them to be healed. I can't raise anymore. I can't be anybody else's life coach no more. They have to be single and healed already. That's
okay.
my
All right.
position.
Let's talk about that a little bit. What are your top three traits you want in a guy?
Okay. Well, past life or where I'm at right now. Where I'm at right now, I want somebody, like I said, that has been healed. That knows, like, I don't know how much time I have left on this earth, but I want to try to do the right thing. I want
Mhm.
to be with someone where we have things in common. Um,
Just top three. Just list three things you want.
that I want,
Yeah,
Mhm.
in a guy.
I want somebody um that can match me financially.
Okay.
I
What does that
want
look like?
somebody that likes
Match
to
you
travel.
financially. What does that look like?
Mhm.
We're looking at 25 to 3,000 a month.
25 to, so let's say around roughly around like 75K a year.
Yeah,
Okay.
they gotta meet me. I'm at the age of my life. I'm not going to settle for less.
Okay.
I'll
How
Mhm.
I'll,
old do you
I'll
want him to
stay
be?
single. I would go 10 years younger. I ain't going
10
older.
years younger.
So they
Bomboca!
can they can be 10 years younger. I ain't going
Okay.
older.
But
I
what about 10
don't, I
years
don't want
older?
to go older.
What
So
about
You
okay,
10
know,
so
years
you want him
older?
to be
He
50, you want him to be
asked.
52. Okay. Do you care about looks? Can you be overweight?
no. When I see an overweight man, I think of health. I think they got high blood pressure. They have diabetes. No,
All right. So he has
no,
to be in shape.
exactly.
He has to be in shape. Okay. All right. Cool. Now let me ask you this, right? What would
Okay.
you rate yourself out of 10 on a scale of 10, and you can't use 7.
Okay. How would I rate myself? Of course, I'm gonna rate myself as a 10.
Bomboka!
Okay,
Oh,
you're a 10. 10 out of 10. So if I put you up there with Rihanna, Beyonce, Tyler, they would say, yeah, she fits in that lineup as well.
I don't compare myself to Hollywood.
Yeah, but we're talking about reality. So if I lined you up with some of
Reality,
the most attractive women in the world,
reality. I clean up very well. Matter of fact, I'm gonna change my avatar about 3 different times for you. How's
all right,
that?
but what I'm saying is, do you really believe that you belong up there next to Rihanna, Tyler, and Beyonce at
Well,
62?
first of all, I don't have their money. I can't afford
It's
a
not about their money.
hairdresser.
It's not about their money. It's just about the looks.
About the looks.
That's
Oh
it.
no, baby, I don't have breast. I had my breast removed. I'm a 2-time cancer survivor. So I'm
Okay, so
coming with no
no,
breast.
what I'm saying is, do you? It's a yes or no. If I put you in a
To
lineup
compare
with
myself to
Rihanna,
them,
Beyonce,
I,
and Tyler, would they say
no.
yeah? Okay, they would say no. Okay, right. So then you're not a 10, realistically.
Okay. Okay.
All right. Okay. Being honest with you here, at 62, you're probably more of around a 3 to a 4 out of 10. Right. And why I say all this is because the type of guy that you're looking for, right, who makes $75K a year, he's 52, he's in shape. Why would he want a 62-year-old 3? Right? And I think we lost her. Okay.
No, I'm here.
Oh, you're here? Okay. So,
I'm
yeah,
here.
you can answer the question.
Why would I think a man would want me? Because I'm a beautiful, loving woman. I like to travel. I like to have fun.
No, why would. Okay. So, what do you think that man would be looking for in a woman? He's 52, makes $75,000 a year, which is a decent amount of money. The average man makes around 40, 45, 50. So he makes more than the average man, and he's in shape. So he takes care of himself. What would he look for in a woman?
I think they would be looking at somebody that they can spend the rest of their lives with.
I mean, he's 52.
Meaning
He's not thinking
somebody
about
that,
death anytime soon.
well, no, but the mindset should be changed after 50. They shouldn't be thinking about dating
Says
anymore.
who?
Like you said,
Says who?
dating, you know, some people really don't want to be out here dating. I think most men, now I don't know, I would assume most men at the age of 52, they should be done everything they want to do, and they want to just settle down with one woman and see what we can build.
uh,
Yeah.
Oh,
No, that's actually wrong. Most men don't hit their financial stride until they're in their late 40s to the 50s, right? So if this is the age and the point of their life where they're gonna make the most amount of money, what do you see a lot of times, right? You see a lot of old guys become
hmm
sugar daddies, right? If they use they're using their retirement money, they're using it up being with women. So as they do, at some point we do want to settle down. I'm not saying that's all men, but that shouldn't, like, you shouldn't just think just because he's 50 that's what he
right.
wants to do, because a lot of them are out there and they have no problem dating the 20-year-old who's hot because she's looking for a provider. And what did he just become? he just hit his financial stride. He just became a provider for her. So it's like, and I bring this all back because you're looking for a guy who is above average, right? For the most part, he's above average. But what you're offering him is not really what men are interested in.
Okay.
Right? So, just maybe dial back the expectations a little bit, and work from
Okay,
there.
I feel you. I can take constructive criticism. Like I said, I'm coming with no breast. Um, I chose not to get breast implants because I'm not going to have anybody inject me with silicone. So I know I'm already coming flawed. So if they a breast man, they need not come my way.
Okay. Raina, what did you think about? I don't know if you heard a little bit about my tonight's topic, but if not, I'll ask you this question: do you think men should chase women?
I'm gonna say no, but I will say that it does need to be a mutual feeling. Um, they may not be like I'm gonna date myself and say they don't have to be like Steve Urkel and be like, yeah, I'm interested. But if he's vocal and he's like, hey, and she puts herself out there too, then it should be a mutual. It should be. Yeah.
It should be.
It should be.
And
I'm
when
not
it is
saying that it
mutual,
is, but it should be.
right, exactly. That's the whole point. It should be mutual, but a lot of times we know that, especially as a young guy, you're going to be chasing a lot of girls. You're going to be pursuing, or the one who is pursuing, the one who's initiating a lot of the dates, a lot of the interactions. And in my opinion, that just shouldn't be a priority on a man's list. But it most definitely should be a priority on a woman's list. So the woman should be prioritizing the man to fit into his life rather than vice versa, the man prioritizing the woman to be in his life.
Well, it is all about priorities. What is interesting to the couple or to the guy and the girl, because for me and my husband, we were both like, okay, I was trying to figure out, okay, about this relationship, and we were fitting each other in. So it was just like, okay, what do we need to do? Because we were different. We were a long distance couple. So it was very much, okay, all right. But when you make somebody a priority, then they know that they are important to you and that they are a part of your life. So it's all a question of your priorities, if you are going to prioritize them or not, or if you're just going to leave them up the creek because you're like, well, you're not really important to me. Yeah, you're just kind of there.
So would you say that you made on the list of priorities, would you say that when you were dating, the guy that you're with now was maybe in the bracket of like 1 to 3?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's how it should be.
Oh, I got a ding. But I want to ask you a question, host. So
Okay,
are
ask
you
away.
telling me that a man that is 52 years old or older, that they all still want to be sugar daddies?
I didn't say all. I'm just saying don't leave that option out.
That they
So
give me a percentage of that, because this is interesting. I like this.
this is interesting. Okay, so when you have a guy who's 50, right? And
Okay.
he's stable. Say he has a house, car, expendable income. why would he not go after the 25-year-old woman who's interested in him? Especially if he's in shape and he looks good. Why would he go after the 6-year-old woman when he can get a 20-year-old woman?
Because he know maybe the 20-year-old woman only wants his money.
So does a 6-year-old. All women want money. that's what you're not understanding. To some degree, all women want money.
So you making it seem like for us women, when we get older, we might as well hang it up. Is that what you're saying?
Not hang it up, but you're going to have to put in a lot more work compared to other women out there because you... all right, let's break this down. When do you think a woman's prime age range would be? When does she reach the prime time of her life? Where she's going to get the most amount of options for men and the most opportunities for men. What age range do you think that is?
I was going to say 20s and 30s. But you know, 30s. For me, I'm in the 30s. So.
30s?
I said 20s and 30s. What I said.
No way. Okay. Her prime. Okay. Most men find most women attractive between the ages of 18 to 24. Okay? That is when you're at the prime of your youth. That is when you have less experience, less trauma. You've been exposed to less things. You're a little bit more agreeable. You're a little bit more open to listening to the man as well. Now, when you start entering your late 20s, your 30s, you've been through a lot. You've been through a couple relationships. You've been dating for a little bit. You've possibly been hurt by multiple men before, physically, emotionally, mentally, right? You've developed a good sense of men and then the bad sense of men, right? So you've kind of seen the both sides of who men can be, possibly by the time you hit age 30, right? Now with that, you've developed your own mindset, you've developed your own opinions, you've developed your own thoughts. You've also gotten older, right? So maybe you developed stress levels, right? Even at 30, people are starting to get gray hairs. So there's no way you can reach your prime time in your life at the later parts of your 20s, right? Men are not gonna find that attractive as much as some men will say they do. I mean, there are men who are gonna find you attractive, but you were your most attractive in your early 20s. Right, but, and then when you hit your 30s, something over here, we like to say you get closer to hitting the wall, right? And when you hit the wall, is when you realize that you don't have as many options as you thought you did.
No, you might be on to something, and
oh, yeah.
I see where you. Now, but check this out, host. You now, listen to this now. You said from 18 to 24 because
I did.
The woman has not experienced too much, has not been traumatized too much. Now listen to this. Now, the way I see you saying this is that she's more. Let me see the words I'm gonna say. The man who trained this woman,
more trainable.
Right, she's more trainable to what he wants from 18 to 24.
She's definitely going to be more trainable compared to a 30-year-old woman.
She's going to be more trainable to what the man wants.
Yes.
That makes sense to me now.
100%. But this comes back to your priorities and what I said before. So if she makes you a priority, she'll have no problem fitting into your life. Right? That's why it's so important. You have to be a priority to her, but it doesn't really matter if she's a priority. She shouldn't be a priority for the man, because she's going to be learning so much from that guy that she's going to gain as he gets more valuable in life. She's going to get more benefits from his value. She won't necessarily get more valuable herself, but she'll reap the benefits of his value. Vice versa, if a woman gets older but gets more money and she's with the guy, it's not necessarily true that he's going to reap the same benefits as that woman. Because if she still has options at 30 and he's just like following her like a little lapdog, she'll find the next guy who can match her financial level and her beauty.
Okay.
So, okay. I'm just speaking from my own mindset and saying that for me, the ages of 18 to 24, I I was not in the mindset to be in a relationship because there was too much trauma that had already happened between those ages for me. However, um, it was better. It was a lot better for me when I got to get married in my 30s because I was actually able to see him as, okay, one, a priority, two, I already had learned my lesson from those years of 18 to 24. So it was actually better for me. I can just speak for me to get married later because we're still are a priority in each other's lives. We are at a partnership in order to get better. He doesn't necessarily um he's never made the finances that I have, but we are, what the cool thing is that we are betting on each other and we are both building an empire together. So that's for me, it was never a thought of me getting married or being in a relationship really from 18 to 24 because way too much stuff personally was going on.
Yes.
Now, I don't say that as a one size fits all type situation, right?
I got you.
But
I
what
just
I will
wanted to
say
I just wanted
is
to weigh in right there.
right, but I brought it up to make mention of that's when women are gonna have the most opportunities and options with men, right? That's when you're going to be able to attract the guy most likely who is willing to take care of you as a provider and reap his benefits as he gets more valuable, right? A lot of times, like you said before, we don't tell women that they need to prioritize relationships. So in a younger age, because of education purposes and just life goals, whatever it may be, right? But we don't really tell them that they need to prioritize relationships and just dating with intention. And rather, we tell them wait until you're in your late 20s, right after you finish college or something, or after you got the career that you really wanted to get, and then the man that you want will be waiting for you at the end. Well, that's just not true, because guys, men do not value the same things you value in your 30s, right? So a 30-year-old man, he isn't necessarily a 30-year-old man who has some income and isn't a mooch. He's not necessarily looking at how much money you make or how much time you spend at your job every day. Those things are actually turnoffs by him. He's not really concerned about the opinions that you made or how you have to act at your job. He's more concerned about what your mindset is like and what type of peace and value you're going to add to him at home. And on top of it, he's going to be worried about beauty, right? He's going to be worried about age because at 30, he's now starting to think about settling down and having a family of his own, right? So if he's looking at older women who are 35 plus, there's always going to be that risk of geriatric pregnancy. There's always going to be that risk of, just having a little bit of a slower child, right? So those are all factors in consideration. Any man with, a good head on his shoulders are going to take into consideration when he's dating. And it's not a double standard. It's biology, but that's just the way it is, right? You're going to have the best chances of starting a big family when you're younger. Right. And if we told more people, if we told more women that, you need to prioritize finding the right man when you were younger, then I think we would do the world a lot more good.
Okay, host, I have another question for you. Now, they say women mature faster than, girls mature faster than boys.
Oh boy.
Okay. Yeah.
Now, so with that, you said a girl 18 to 24 is in her prime. So
yes,
with women maturing faster, what age of a man, what age should the man be for that woman that's between the age of 18 and 24? Considering
that's actually a really good question. How I like to tackle that question is actually putting more focus on what her intentions and goals are, right? So if the woman is 18 to 24 and she really wants to be a doctor, I'm not going to tell you not to be a doctor. Go ahead and be a doctor, right? But what I am going to say is that men aren't necessarily chasing after doctors, right? like millionaire men who are providers aren't chasing after doctors. Let's just be real, right? So if that's what you want, do that. If you want to have a family and kids and you don't want to have to work, you want your man to pay most of the bills, then I would kind of bring up the point that, is your career as important as you think it is? Right? If you ultimately want a man who's going to be a provider in the end, and you want to just be a mom, you want to enjoy motherhood and be a mother, and I think that's the ultimate job, and they deserve the most ultimate praise, is just being a mother, especially just being a stay-at-home mom. Sometimes to a guy is so much work. So if that's what you want to do, then you need to realign yourself and your mindset so that your life fits those goals. But a lot of times people are just coasting. They're coasting because we told them that by the time you finish school and by the time you hit 30, the perfect man is waiting right there for you. And a lot of times they hit 30, they realize they have all these expectations, they have all these other experiences because they're still having sex, right? They're still having sex, so they're going through all this trauma. They're dealing with multiple men. They're seeing the good and bad side of men now. So they're dealing with all that. They hit 30, and now they think Mr. Perfect's supposed to be waiting right there for them, while at the same time, they only have 5 good years before they hit geriatric pregnancy.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And see, you and your sound effects. That's all I'm gonna say. I do like them.
I love it. I do like them. I'm enjoying this. I'm learning. I'm gonna have all of my nieces, my cousins' kids. Yeah, I'm learning something.
See,
I'm trying to keep up. I'm trying to keep up with the young folks. I'm trying to see how y'all think and what's going on out there. Okay. So he done already let me know that so with me being soon to be 62, Mr. Host, what should I be expecting from a man?
Message.
If he has all his teeth, I think you're doing pretty good.
Stop that. Stop that, sir. Stop it.
I think you're doing pretty good. If he has all his teeth.
Due to cancer.
Yeah. I mean, what do you really expect? Do you really, this guy you listed? I mean, do you really expect that?
I'm asking you.
Well,
You the man.
it comes down to what you want. So your intention and your
Right.
goal. So like, do you want to be
Yeah.
married, or are you okay with just being a girlfriend? Do you just want like
Mm.
somebody with you?
No, I just want to really for the rest of my life because I'm so thankful for being alive and surviving life and breast cancer twice that I just want to make good memories from now on. I just, that's the
Okay.
level I'm vibrating on. Matter of
So
fact,
you
you
don't
can
want
be
so you
in
don't want to
your
be
place.
married. So you're okay with being like a girlfriend forever.
Oh
Okay.
yeah, I don't even want them living with me. I don't want nobody telling me, you on the computer too much. They might grit their teeth. I ain't doing all
Okay.
that.
So
I
all
like
right, you
my
don't want him
place.
living with you. Okay. Are
Yeah,
you
we can
okay
be
with
in two
sharing
places.
him?
Okay. Mm. Mm.
Oh shoot now.
Uh-oh.
I mean, that's it. You never
Sharon.
thought about that? If you're not living with the guy, what else do you think he's doing?
Right.
Oh wow. I guess as
Mm-hmm.
long as I don't know what I don't know ain't gonna hurt me or kill me.
Ooh.
Hey, that was the best thing you said all night. I like that. What you don't know won't hurt you.
I don't know about that part, but I'm just
That's a
saying.
pretty good start.
Oh, or unalive
Interesting.
me. I'm sorry. What I don't know won't unalive me, hurt me or unalive me. Cause
Mm.
you can't say certain words on YouTube now. So thank you.
Yeah.
Make sure.
Well,
Okay.
I mean, if
Oh,
you're
check
starting
you
with
out.
that, if you're
You
starting
said
with that,
that's the best thing I done said. Well, I need you to hit that bell like doom 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 3 times in a row.
I'm gonna hit the bell when I hit the bell. Don't worry about it. It's
Yeah.
coming. So, I would say you're off to a pretty good start. You're
Okay.
okay with sharing him, as long as you don't know.
Oh
Right.
wow.
Yeah.
You're okay with being a girlfriend. Well, I would say maybe the age you probably would have to go up significantly. I would say probably like 70.
Oh my goodness. Oh my God. That means they on a lot of medication. Shoot. They
Either 60 or 70, either 60 or 70. I don't think he's probably going to want to travel too much. Yeah, I also over he might not be in shape.
he want to get into this overweight thing. Okay. All right.
Yeah. I
So
Well,
think you
I
I'm
got to
gonna be
give
mean,
that up.
looking at
technically, round
I'm gonna
is
be
a
looking
state.
at an overweight lover in the house. I gotta look for the
Yeah.
overweight lover in the house. Oh
You
my
might have to give
goodness.
up the in shape. You might have to give up the 75K per year. You might have to, you're definitely going to have to be okay with going 50-50 on almost everything.
Okay.
Mhm.
I can deal with that. I can take that.
I mean,
Thank
everything,
you.
vacations, trips, meals, anytime you guys go out 50-50. And I think if you just, like I said, if you tweaked your expectations just a little bit, and I mean, I don't know where you're going to find this guy, but I'm pretty sure you got social circles. But, you know.
Mhm. That's interesting. That definitely is. Hmm. That
Now,
definitely is.
Reno, right?
Renee,
Renee? Okay. Do
you
you
done
have
messed
any,
me up, sir. Sorry, go ahead.
sorry, my bad.
You're all right.
Renee, do you have any friends who are dating right now?
I do. I do. That are dating.
What has their dating experience been like?
Not good. And most of my friends, um well, no, one's in long term relationship, but another one of my friends, he's just single, and he hasn't really expressed, but he hasn't found the woman. I've heard different story about other women that he was interested in, but some they were just they weren't for him. So
How
he's
old is
actually
he?
been having some adventure. He is 33. He's 33. Yeah,
33. Okay.
he's 33.
What does he do for work? You don't have to give too many details, but
No, I do know that he does he works for Amazon. He works for Amazon. So
like engineer, or we talking about
no
delivery?
delivery. He's not engineer.
Okay, well that's it right there. That I mean, that's why. Listen,
I think so,
3 pillars every guy needs to have by 35. He still has 2 more years. I mean, he can still go still going way past 35. But before you get into a serious relationship, every guy out there, and I need to say this, you need to have your fitness on point, which means you're going to the gym at least 3 times a week, right? You don't take overweight. You don't have to be super cut or super in shape, but you at least have a decent lifestyle and a routine where you're going to the gym and making sure your fitness is on point. That could be playing basketball, boxing, or just working out in general. But you need to be active at least 3 times a week. That's the bare minimum for just maintaining a healthy life. Okay.
Oh yeah, well that's him. That's him though. Yeah. Yeah.
Next thing, at 33, you need
Yeah.
to be making at least above average of the minimum wage. I would say you should be nearing at least 6 figures by now, right? This way, and this is important because by the time you make close to 6 figures, you're going to have the option to get your own place. And on top of that, you're going to have disposable income, right?
Mm-hmm.
And disposable income is important because now you can actually afford to take higher level women out on more quality dates, right? Because most times when you're restricted by your income, you can't afford to take a lot of women on nice places because you just can't afford it, right? Which sets you in a place where you're not going to be meeting high quality women regardless, right? So you're going to be stuck in this loop of meeting poor quality women, but also taking them to poor quality places. Right. So this is why income is so important, and having disposable income is important, is because now you open up different opportunities and options for yourself to meet better women and to just put yourself in environments where you can meet better women. The next one is going to be your mental, go to therapy. I'm a big supporter of just going to therapy and just getting the work done, dealing with some of the traumas that you never had to talk about because, we all grew up with parents and we all went through things. But it's important as a man that you've dealt with all your shit, because most likely the woman that you're going to deal with still has a lot of shit that she needs to go deal with, right? And you have to be that person who's solid and straight and can be there for her. If you can't be there for her and she can't rely on you and you're still figuring shit out and she's still figuring shit out, you guys are going to crash and burn, right? One person needs to at least be stable and have their shit together mentally.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah,
that's just that, not only to him, but just a general message to all men out there. Those are the 3 things you got to have before you even start thinking about pursuing someone for a relationship, because at 33, you should be looking at marriage pretty soon, right? You should be dating with intention and dating with the intent to just take things a little bit more serious than just casual dating and having a long-term girlfriend. So,
in that regard, I can say that I don't think he's always necessarily was looking for someone for the long term for marriage. I think now that he's getting a little bit older, he's starting to think about it because he was just really focused on school. But I know that he's one of my dearest friends. His mindset is where it needs to be, and he takes care of himself. He's just still at that little gap, but he's
still grinding.
He'll make up for it in a whole lot because he's that kind of guy. He's that kind of guy. So
right.
I'm happy to have him as a friend.
He's still grinding. He's still grinding. But
Absolutely.
the thing is, I just don't want him to focus on love. Don't focus on a relationship right now because you still have work to do.
Right.
The work still needs to be done. So you can date, you can have sex with all these girls, but do not take them serious. Do not get into a relationship. Don't even think about taking them serious. Just do what you got to do because there's still work that needs to be done.
That's Right. Because I know for me, I didn't. I got into situationships and some relationships, and I was like, ooh, but then I was like, I was like, I'm really not trying to do that. I focused on school, but then I always knew that I was going to get married a little later because that just was my mindset. But then it was okay. Now I see my life is changing, and I see where I didn't want to make the priorities in the past for a relationship, but then I saw, okay, I should probably start prioritizing. But then I had to take care of home as well. So you can't heal if you don't heal. You'll be cutting yourself on a whole lot of people that never even cut you. You'll be bleeding on people that never even cut
Oh
you.
yeah.
So for me, I had to go on a whole healing journey. It's my story.
Okay. Well, why do you think a lot of women nowadays are not prioritizing marriages and relationships?
I think it's because no one you don't know what it looks like. You don't know. I didn't see it. I didn't see it growing up. My aunt and my uncle, they're the longest people that were married. They beat my grandparents. They've been married for over 50 years. I saw it with them, but I never my parents got divorced after 8 years. So I didn't see it. Um, it to me, I thought it was just okay. Um, you have a kid with somebody, all right, you know what I'm saying, and there you go. But you have to when you don't see it, I think that's you wonder if it's even possible, and a lot of people settling for you see people settling for less, and you think that okay, well maybe that's what I need to shoot for. So it comes down to sometimes what you see and what you've experienced.
I think that's true. It, especially in the black community, we don't see a lot of marriages the same
Right.
way as our other counterparts, right?
Exactly.
So that is important. And then when you look at a lot of our black leaders and a lot of the figureheads that are in the black community, a lot of them just they're not married, or the lifestyle that they portray doesn't have a high regard of marriage. So
Right.
that is important. But also there is some accountability. I want to say it is important to see, but if you want something, you'll go get it, right? So that
Exactly.
has never stopped people before. If people actually wanted marriage and they wanted a family, they would go get it. So there has to be some of that accountability aspect with it as well. And yeah, I believe that a lot of women just are not prioritizing relationships or marriage is because they have the illusion of a man down the
Ooh.
road.
You better watch it,
I
sir.
think that's
Watch
truly
it.
what it is. I think with the invention of technology, right? You have dating apps, you have Instagram, you have Facebook. It just
Yeah.
gives this illusion that there's so many men out there and there's so many men interested in you, right? Like you have like guys constantly DMing girls, right? Or go on the
Yes.
dating app as a girl, you'll probably have like 1,000 likes, and you didn't even post a picture of yourself. So we've given women definitely a false illusion of options when 9 times out of 10 all those guys just want to smash and then leave you, right?
Okay.
So I think it's a combination of both, but definitely some accountability, and that accountability ties back into going to therapy as a man and a woman, just getting the work done, and going to a therapist who's going to hold you accountable, not a therapist who's just going to try to, maybe
Get the money from you and dip.
maybe life was a
Yeah.
little bit too hard for you, and then they're going to force some fucking pills down your throat. You don't want to see a therapist like that. You want to see a
Yeah.
therapist who's going to keep it raw and real with you, and really hold and set goals for you. If your therapist is not setting goals for you to meet or homework for you to do to better yourself, change your therapist. Okay.
Yeah, attainable goals at that. Some Rome wasn't built in a day.
Exactly. Yeah. But that's the thing. Like, it's going to take time to put in the work, and this is why it's so important to prioritize it at a young age. Because by the time you're 24, you've already dealt with some shit. You probably had a bad relationship or two. You probably seen the bad side of men. You probably been harassed a couple times. So you definitely need to do some work so you can see the true value that a man could provide to not only you but to your relationship and the betterment of your future family, if that's what you want.
Hmm. Yeah, there's a lot of healing, a lot of doing the shadow work, a lot of finally cutting through the BS and really
Mm,
Yeah.
coming to terms with who you are and some of the things that you may have accepted. It's I mean I had to I saw the trends that I was making in relationships, and I was like, okay, in relationships it's easy to point the finger at you, but there was two of us. There was two of us in here. There you have to really get to the real stuff about where, not you, but where, okay, I accepted something. There's something else brewing in here.
Yeah, true. I mean, I say this to men a lot, but if you can't stand there and look at yourself in the mirror and really
Ooh.
analyze your whole body, right? Then how can you expect someone else to look at you and then see something positive out of you, right? So you have to be able to do some self-reflection, and you have to be able to just see where you need to work on and just move from there. Take it a day at a time, but constant improvement doesn't happen overnight.
That's right. But it's a process, and you can't just stop when you get to one stage. You have to keep going. Nobody turns into a butterfly overnight. It is stages. But
Nope.
when you do the work, you end up seeing the beautiful butterfly. So put in the work. It ain't easy sometimes though, I tell you.
Oh hell no, it's never easy.
No.
It's never
But
gonna be easy.
it's
Nothing
better
easy is
though.
worth it.
Yeah.
All right, you don't even want anything that's easy. 'Cause anything that comes too easy is probably not worth it.
It probably smells like hot dog water.
I would
All
like
right.
to say something because I'm gonna have to get out of
Let's.
here.
Do you guys have any final thoughts? How'd you like the podcast? Do you have any questions for me? This is your time to say it all.
I want to say I really enjoyed this. I want to say what I liked the most that you talked about
Hmm.
is getting therapy. I will say this: a lot of us, we were traumatized, especially when it came to relationships, on what we saw our parents, our aunts and uncles, I mean, other women, other family, outside kids. So to, to keep emphasizing that we need therapy, I really have the utmost respect for you. Uh, we can't pray about everything. We need therapy. And I
Yeah, for
appreciate
sure.
you for allowing me to come on this panel, even though you done made me think I'm gonna end up with an overweight lover that I'm gonna be so scared if he eat a pork chop he might pass out on me. But it's all good. And I respect all of the viewpoints that you gave and our other
Thank you.
co-hosts as well.
Do you
I
have any final
respect you both.
questions?
Um, so do you have any older friends or older family members, older people that you see dating now that's in their 50s or 60s and it's working out for them?
I have seen it. I've definitely have seen it where people have dated in their 50s and it's worked out for them. One thing I've seen is that it moves very quickly, right? They don't really
Mm-hmm.
have time to waste, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And where it's most successful is that they understand that there's no such thing as perfection, right? Everybody's gonna have their little quirks. Everybody's gonna have things that you hate from them, right? And it just comes down to what your expectations are and what you're willing to settle for, right? I know people hate the word settling, but when you come to a point of settling down with someone, you're settling for that person. You're settling for their bad habits and their good habits, and you're willing to just deal with it and work on it with them until the end of time. That's all settling is. It's not a bad thing. Everybody has to settle. Men have to settle. Men settle overwhelmingly a lot more than women settle, but everybody settles.
Mm.
I can respect that. I can really truly respect that. I want to thank y'all for inviting me over here on this podcast. Please let me know when it's gonna be aired. And
Oh, I
I've
mean,
got
it's
to
it's
say,
airing right now. We got people tuning in right now.
oh,
You guys got any comments?
okay,
Let me know.
okay. I want to thank you. I want to thank y'all, and I have to go because we've got somebody get ready to come take us to eat.
All
Thank
right.
you
Well, thank you
so
for
much.
joining.
Thank you for having me, and I hope I was a great guest. Thank you.
Awesome. All right.
All right.
Renee.
Thank you so much for having me. And my question to you is when, after listening to everything that you were saying, when was your turning point in your life with not only with the therapy, but everything that you spoke on? When did you get to that particular mindset?
Yeah, that's interesting. I would say this kind of opened itself up for me during COVID, really.
Ah,
Yeah. So when dating apps, during COVID, two things happened. I understood that my value was low. It wasn't where it should be. And I
mhm,
understood that dating apps and technology has really changed the game in the marketplace, right? So once I understood that, I decided to just improve myself a little bit more. So I mean, I'm still pretty skinny now, but I was even more skinnier back then. So I started to realize I had to work on just building up my image, hitting the gym consistently, eating better. On top of that, I also had to work on the way I speak. So I had to get more comfortable just speaking to people, going up to people, cold approaching, having the confidence to go up to people, having the confidence and the the charisma to be able to have a conversation and keep the conversation going, keep the person entertained. And then with that, I also needed the emotional intelligence, I guess you should say. But
mhm,
really, what it is just how to balance a woman's emotions with my emotions, right? Because I could be a lot more logical. I could be a lot more stoic. Things don't really phase me as well. And then there are times where, things do phase me, but it's a balancing act, right? And women's emotions could be a lot more volatile at times. So you have to just be aware of that, be aware of what you're saying. One thing I understood throughout this journey is that a lot of times women really aren't looking for answers the way a guy would be looking for answers if they tell you their problems, right?
right, right.
And they're really just listening for an ear and having a shoulder to cry on and just someone to come to. So it's just a combination of learning all those skills that I thought I had in my
Mhm.
previous relationships and understanding that I really lacked in certain areas and how I could be better and a better version of myself. And then, this podcast is just everything combined of my experiences that I want to give to other men out there so that they don't make the same mistakes I made. Right.
Absolutely.
So,
Okay. Well, I wanted to ask you that because that was a question that was brewing in my mind for a few minutes. So
Mhm.
I appreciated being on here. Um, I loved how you were talking about the therapy because it's something you don't really hear about, especially in our community, but it's very much needed. I don't think I know anyone that goes to a psychiatrist or even a psychologist, which is deep to say. But I really enjoyed being on here. You spoke the truth. You spoke the truth, and I was like, "Woo!" I was like, "Boy, it made me glad that I'm where I am in my life." So thank you for
Yeah, she's not
having
dating,
me.
right?
I am
That's why I tell
not.
everybody: dating market is tough right now. If you if you're in a relationship, stay there because dating market is tough.
I bet. Thank you.
But yeah, thank you for coming. If you want to shout out your socials where people can find you or a book or something that you want to promote, you can let people know.
All right. So I am, like I said earlier, I am a writer. So I ghostwrite books and I also write blogs and articles. So feel free to hit me up. I am Queen Reliable Renee across all social media platforms, even on my YouTube channel. So go ahead and look for me and hit me up.
All right. Shout out to you. Shout out to you. All right. Thank you guys for doing the podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. Covered a lot on this episode. We'll be back again next Friday, 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. So stay tuned for that. And yeah, we are out of here.